Hey everybody, welcome to Tide House. Today we have another fun episode for you. Today we are going to be doing bar gadgets. Now, there's going to be a lot of different things out there, a lot of flashy things, a lot of shiny things. We're going to try to get down to the basics. What one needs to have a very nice home bar. We're not talking professional bar. There's a million gadgets you could use in a professional setting. But at a home bar, there is a lot of options out there for you to choose from, okay? And I'm gonna try to decipher which ones are actually necessary for you. Some things you're gonna wanna stay away from. Some things might surprise you on this list. So without further ado, let's go over. I don't think we're gonna do a top 10 list. Let's just do a list. Let's just keep it open-ended. I was looking through my bar. I got a lot of different things here, but I'm pretty sure I only use a few things on a repeated basis. So let's start. First things first, if you're a wine drinker, you already know where I'm going with this. If you're a professional bartender, you probably already know where I'm going with this. But it's gonna be the corkscrew. Now I like these, very nice. They have these nice little blades here for wine service, for bottle service, to cut the tops off, right? But they also have the nice corkscrew there. Now that corkscrew, if you can see that, you want one that has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Bare minimum 5. This would be the bare minimum. Okay, make sure they're separate. They're a fair amount apart. See, what happens is some of the fancier ones, they look cool. They're very slender and sleek. However, because the corkscrew is so tightly wound that you're more likely to damage, okay, the cork. And that is number one. Don't cheap out on a good corkscrew. All right. Number two, numero dos. You're gonna need a bar rag, right? Now in the business, we call them bar mops. Bar rag's just fine. We have one right here. This is a brand new, spanking beautiful one. I try to keep them a nice pile of new ones and some ones that wash up really nice. When they get stained, I toss them. The second a bar rag gets stained, you don't want guests over to see something dirty, like a dirty old bar rag. Bar rag's very simple. This one is 100% cotton. Really, I just use these to wipe down the bar. So very simple. You don't want to. It's not a good look, right? So what we're gonna do is just teach you real quick how to fold these things. Ready? Tag on top, fold once, fold twice, fold 3 times, so you have a nice little rectangle there, and there you go. Wet down the bar with a little soda water. I tend to use Windex. I don't know. Home bar, kind of depends on your tabletop. I try to keep mine looking nice, especially when people are talking. They spit when they talk. They spill drinks. They put their elbows down on the table, their dirty hands, their food, whatever. So you just want to stay handy with one of these bar mops, okay? Second type of rag is more of a linen deal. This is about as close as I use, but these are not to really be used to wipe anything down or to clean anything up. So these guys, you want to be lint-free, all right? Lint-free towels, anything like that. These are used for polishing your glasses. When you're talking to somebody, make sure that it's nice and lint-free so it doesn't, cloud the glass. You get a really nice shine on them, and it eliminates any fingerprints, right? So, the dirty work, the polishing work, okay? The bottle opener, the all-important bottle opener. Now, I got a whole bucket of these things, man. I got everything from screwdriver base, handy dandy poppers, dolphins. I got a dolphin bottle opener. This thing's pretty cool, right? I even got some antique ones. You know, these old school bottle openers. They're cool. They work. But best bang for your buck, get one of these. You probably see these when you go to the bar. That bartenders always look cool. They have them in their back pockets. Pull them out. What can I open for you, sir? Boom. The nice thing about these is they're big, they're wide, they're easy to hold, and it takes very, very little force to actually open up your beer bottles. So invest in these. You pay a little bit more, but it's worth it. I've had this thing for damn near 10 years. The paint is still perfect on this thing. It's a little PBR bottle opener. It works great. So get a good bottle opener. Something with, this is comfortable too, don't get me wrong, but I think this is actually more expensive than that one. I got this as a gift, but it's still an awesome bottle opener. And the dolphin is just cool. I don't know, it's a conversation piece. Got that at a thrift store. So, bucket of bottle openers, but I tend to only use one. Only one. All right. Next, the Jigger. Okay, the Jigger. There's 100 different types of jiggers, and this is by far the best one. I think you can get this on Amazon. I'll leave a link in the description below for all this stuff. But here we go. The all-important Jigger. What I like about this Jigger, why this Jigger is supreme, okay? It's got a rubber grip in the middle, okay? Extremely comfortable, okay? Hard to drop. And inside this particular Jigger, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different laser etched measurements inside the Jigger, which is phenomenal. All right, it even goes down to, I believe it goes down to 1/3 of an ounce, which you don't get too often when you're making drinks. 1/4 of an ounce, 1/2 ounce on that one, and then 1 1/2, 3/4, and 1/4, or yeah, 1/4 ounce. So there are Japanese styles that are a little taller. I got a horse one here. This one has no etchings in there. So usually ounce, 2 ounce, I believe. Maybe that's 1.5 ounces. Doesn't matter. See these things, and the Japanese ones. Japanese ones are a little bit longer. They're very fancy when you pour them. You pour the Japanese ones into the glass. I think it's a little unnecessary. Glass, booze, pour. Super simple. But get a good one. Again, you can drop this one. It bounces right back. I've had this thing for years. I have not been on the market for years. I bought it, one and done. Don't need any more. The Jigger. Get it. Description below. Next. Now I saw this on a list on YouTube. Not going to name the channel. Disagreed with this part. But he swore by it. He said, get yourself a good mixing glass, a cocktail mixing glass. So you pour your booze in the mixing glass. This one, I think I got it $9 on Amazon, relatively inexpensive. It's very heavy on the base, which is great because a little harder to knock down. Supposed to be able to do all your measurements, pour them right in there. Gives you a good base to actually stir and pour into your glass. But I find it a little big. I don't necessarily use it. I actually have a bigger version of this. Check this one out. Hold on. I tend to just hold stuff in these cocktails. Anytime I get a large weighted bottom glass, always putting shit in there. I got all sorts of stuff in here. So, corkscrew, not nearly as good. Don't get these kind of corkscrews, by the way. I always tend to damage corks. But yeah, mixing glasses, I don't necessarily need them. You know what I use? You know what I use. You've seen me. You've seen me in action. I use this guy. This one actually has, this is kind of cool because it actually has recipes on it. This one's all etched. It's really nice. This needs a good polish in itself. And it's solid. I feel like if I drop this, it wouldn't break on me. Even though it's glass, but it's solid glass. It is really nice. So I do like this one. This is my mixing glass. But if you want to look fancy, you want to impress your friends, I mean, it's not a bad glass. It's not a bad glass. I just don't use it. I think you can save yourself the $9, okay? All right. So, moving on. Get yourself a good spoon. Longer the better. I like it when it has the twists there. It just really does help with grip, especially when your hands are wet. The actual spoon part of this is good for picking out little cherries, getting into a drink, or even pouring just a little bit, a drop of this, a drop of that on there. But this has a little weight on the end, which helps balance the spoon out. So when you do stirring, it's extremely nice. I was looking, I do have other spoons. I'll show you some of the other different types out there. So this one is a wooden spoon. So the grip is nice, but the grip is all up here. If you were to go down here, it gets a little slick. The spoon itself is a little bit bigger than this spoon. Hope you can see that. So it's a little bit bigger, a little bulkier. Not a fan. This was probably something from the 60s. I do like that it's heavier. Overall, this is a much heavier spoon, but I don't use this one quite as much. The other one we talked about, or the other one I've shown you in the past, is the horsey spoon. The horsey spoon, again, this one's actually weighted really heavily, hence the horse head, on the edge here. It's not as long as this spoon. It's good for a quick stir. I do like that it's a bigger, and the spoon part is a little bit bigger for certain things, but I do prefer the smaller spoon part. But so go long, go with a good twist. Make sure there's a little weight at the end, and make sure that the spoon's not obnoxiously big up on top. Okay, so go with the bar spoon like that. Okay. The old-fashioned ice bucket. Now, some of you may have a automatic ice machine in their basement. You can get them on Amazon. I do not have one of those. My own fear is I would not keep it clean enough for an extended period of time, and I feel like I would be worried about getting anyone sick. Just my own head. I'm sure they're easy to clean out. Anyone that does have an ice bucket or an automatic ice maker, please comment on the comments below. Tell me how you like it. Maybe I'll pick one up. But this is just a good old-fashioned ice bucket. Nothing too fancy. I do like this one because it's got the plastic insert. Easy to wash out. Easy to keep clean. And you always want a good ice bucket because, one, you don't want to handle ice with your hands, so you get to use a little cool scooper, right? Two, it prevents the ice from melting too quick. So when you're entertaining a lot of guests, it's always nice to have an ice bucket on hand. You don't have to have a whole bar setup. Ice buckets are good just for a small little liquor nook in your house or apartment. And tongs, for picking out individual ice. Maybe you don't need a whole scoop of ice. Maybe you only need a few cocktail or a few things of ice for your whiskey, right? So, boop. Our good old-fashioned shaker tin. So the shaker tin with a strainer and a mixing glass versus one of these things. You see these everywhere. You see these at Target. You see these on Amazon. This one is an Amazon purchase. Comes in 3 pieces. Good ones have etched measurements on the top cap, so you can use this as a jigger. This one does not. It has a strainer. I don't know if you can see that, but there's definitely holes in here on this top. And it has a little shaker tin, okay? So the idea behind these, put your ice in there, your cocktail, put your top, put the cap on, and you're shaking. Versus this guy. We make our cocktails in here or in the shaker tin. You pop your glass on there, 2 hands, and you give it a good shake. When you're ready to pour these, you take the top off, and you pour it right into your cocktail. With this, you use the strainer, and you pour. Now the strainer has 2 functions here, actually has multiple functions. You push it forward, can you see that? If you push it forward, you will collect 100% of all the ice chunks, okay? If you push it back and pour it, you're just gonna give a little bit of ice chunks into the cocktail. If you fold it over like this, that's when we used this trick when we cracked the egg in that cocktail we did, the Clover Club, right? Crack the egg. This hole keeps the yolk from going inside the drink. So multi-use. Which one is the preferred one? Well, science has the answer here. Science. It's all about the science, guys. When you shake a cocktail with ice, what ends up happening is the metal starts to contract, shrinks, and it creates a killer seal. That's why it's very hard to spill. You see guys when they do flares, they can really go crazy with this thing. When it's cold, this glass is not moving. A seal forms on this. And the easiest way, there's 2 ways to do it. You can push up to unlock it, or what I like to do, just a little thumb or a little palm, boom, knocks it right out. When these bastards get cold, there is no removing. You can remove the cap. There is no separating this part from this part. The Incredible Hulk couldn't do it. It's insane. The way this thing gets so cold and the way this seal forms, it's so hard. You actually have to let either the drink or this cocktail or this tin warm up enough where it loosens up a little bit, or run it under hot water. But for the most part, I hate these things. In fact, any of my friends that comes and drinks at the hobby or mentions this, I will send them home with this parting gift. The one thing I don't care for. I just bought this on Amazon for a couple bucks. Use my points just to show you what this thing's all about, but I hate these. You can just toss these if you have it right now. Get yourself just a good old-fashioned shaker tin. This is just your normal standard beer glass. This thing costs $1, if that. You know what I'm saying? It's even cheaper going this route. Do this. Please, for the love of God, do this. All right? All right, so we talked about stirring glasses. We talked about bottle openers. We talked about wine openers. We talked about spoons. We talked about jiggers. We talked about shakers, movers and shakers, baby. I feel like this is going on forever, man. I feel like this is going on forever. Let's keep going. What the hell? All right, here we go. If you get into fancy cocktails where you are doing a lot of juicing and you want to pour the juice into a cocktail and you want something that is going to catch all the seeds, again, it's a cheap investment, but that jigger fell in it. See? No problems. A fine mesh strainer. You can get these also on Amazon. Description at the bottom. Pour right into there. They're handy to have when you make those kind of cocktails. If you do not make those kind of cocktails, it's really not that useful. You're not going to use it much, but it is kind of nice to have just in case, okay? Because you don't want to sit there with picking seeds out of your tongue or out of your teeth because you didn't have one of these. This is still something that's very important. Speaking of juicers, you know what I use. There's a million types of juicers. I like this one. It's simple. Yellow for lemon, green for lime. 90% of my cocktails are either lemon or lime. So this helps me out a lot. I do have a giant press or like juicer. I have the single press juicer. Problem is you gotta cut the fruit up kind of small to get into the smaller presser. It looks nice, it films nice, but bang for the buck. I use this thing way more than I should. It just works and it's dishwasher safe, and I think I paid maybe $3 at the grocery store for this. So you'll be able to find them out there. You don't have to go too fancy on the juicers. We're almost done. We're almost done. A good knife and a good cutting board. The knife. Now the paring knife is super important for a few reasons. One, you want something with a small blade that's going to be easy to control when you cut fruit. If you are slicing fruit, it's good for even just taking a little bit of the rind off of fruit, where you can do a little twist, like a lemon twist or an orange twist. This thing is pretty baller, okay? The only thing I swear to you guys have to get a decent sharpener. Make sure that your bar knife is as sharp as possible, because most cuts come from dull knives. So make sure that these knives are super sharp and you'll be okay. And a good cutting board. You don't need anything too fancy there. Easy peasy, right? But make sure you have one for your bar. Extra credit, little pro gamer move here, okay? My bar has it. I think it just looks sharp. It's the Bar Caddy. You can get these also on Amazon. Bar Caddy here, mine is loaded up with cocktail napkins. I got some old school coasters. Mixing little cocktail straws. Stirring, little stir sticks there. And larger straws. So this is what I have here. I think it works really great. They're very, very inexpensive. Cocktail napkins, coasters, straws, you can get those in bulk and they'll last you probably the life of your bar, honestly. So again, very handy to have. It's neat and it's organized. All right. So last but not least, one of the best things you can get for your bar that's inexpensive and cheap but works really well and is great to have around is your muddler. Yes, the muddler. Sorry, it's perfect. It's perfect to use. It's easy to use. They're inexpensive. You can get them anywhere. This one, I think, this came with a bottle of Bacardi. Muddlers just work well, and they're good to have, and they're easy to keep clean. And when you're doing drinks that require muddling, like mojitos, like old fashions, it's just so satisfying to smash things. So, the Muddler. Make sure you have one of those as well. All right, so I think we got it all. I think we covered it all. This is all what you need. I feel like this isn't a lot of things in the grand scheme of things, and they're all relatively inexpensive. So if you have any ideas you'd like to see me do, any questions for me, please feel free to post them on the comments below, and like us on Facebook. You know, I'm always sharing these videos and some fun stuff I see around the web. Always some good time there. And last but not least, make sure that you check out our other 2 videos. They should be popping up here on either side. We got all sorts of fun stuff we've been doing lately. Holy Water's been a big hit. The Frank Sinatra one was super fun to do. Take a look at those. The Tom Collins, I still think that's one of my best drinks that we've made here. So delicious. So look at our other videos. I really appreciate you guys for watching. Until next time, you know, we'll see you later. Thank you very much. There it is. Cheers.